One of the most painful relationship blocks that an artist is ever going to experience may not even be from friends and family. It might be from their block around their creativity and their resources. We can glorify not having enough. We can say, hey, I'm getting it out of the mud, and we can build whole identities around not having what we need. In fact, we have the archetype of the starving artist for a reason. Like this idea that there is something glorious or noble or pure about not having what you need and still making it happen anyways. And there is magic in that when you do have nothing. But in that, there's a huge and crazy irony that comes into play when you think about how artists interact with the world. We completely ignore how huge of a creative block it is when we look away from the opportunities that we can have, because we believe that we are only artists when we don't have. Artists are supposed to be the vehicle where which people experience the luxuries, those blessings. And at that same time, we, the very same people that bring these luxuries and these blessings into life, have the hardest time accepting that they should be a part of our stories. And in this video, we're going to be talking about week 6 of The Artist's Way, which is all about recovering a sense of abundance, but really about recovering a sense of permission and allowance. What does it mean for you to be allowed to do something, and who permits you to do so? But before we get into that, welcome back. My name is Matt. I'm a multi-hyphenate artist and creative living out here in Philadelphia, documenting my creative journey right here on the internet with you. So the truth of the matter is that it's not just about luxury. It is about allowance. It is about permission. It is about permission to go and do things. And so at the beginning, when you don't have anything, it's so important to have the grit, the tenacity, and the push and the drive to make use of what you have. But as you grow, you need to give yourself permission to step into abundance. And that is all what week 6 of The Artist's Way is about. It is about this irony that as artists, we bring blessings and luxury into the world. We make the art that sells for millions of dollars. We make the music that change the culture and make people cry themselves into the ground. We make the songs and the dance and the stories that change the world. We are the ones that bring blessings and permission, and yet we allow ourselves to do the least. We believe that we need the least in order to start, in order to be a real artist. And it's not true. It's not true. It's antithetical, in fact, because it is impossible to make decisions about something that have not even entered into your heart. It is impossible to make a decision about something that you have not given yourself the experiences in order to consider. If you do not permit yourself to have experiences, permit yourself to take chances and leaps, permit yourself to do any number of things that will allow you to have the growth that you need, you will never be able to have the information, the feedback, and experience that will let you consolidate down what you want to do. And this chapter is all about that balance, the artistic identity and beliefs around integrity, and how to deal with luxury, how to deal with having more and bringing in more for yourself and those around you. So chapter 6 is broken up into 2 main sections. It is about the great creator, which is more God talk, and about luxury in general. But in truth, it is 2 different perspectives on the concept of permission. And what I mean by that is that the first section talks about the great creator, right? It's about people's beliefs around what God is allowing them to do and what that permission looks like in regard to resources. So artists tend to stop themselves up and go, okay, God wants me to be serious. I need to be serious in order to be an artist. I need to make sure things are right. And like, I can't play. And so because we have this concept that the outer force that is funding us, quote unquote, or like resourcing us, wants us to be a certain way, we deprive ourselves in advance. We say, well, God would never want me to joke. Like, this is not actual art. Like, this is not actual whatever. And so I need to deprive myself. And so in this section, in truth, it's really about how we don't give ourselves permission to do things and we put it on God. We say, I want to take those classes, but God would not want me to take these classes, or this will be a race of resources, and whatever you place in that God seat, right? It might be the outer force, right? Like God above, or it might be like friends or family or whatever, like whatever force you defer your power to in an external way. She is saying that this force, we are using this force as an out to avoid our own decision making, to avoid giving ourselves permission for what we truly are afraid to do. We go, this is just not, this is silly, like it's not real. Julia makes this very important point that God is all about the continuation of creation, that God wants to make things for making things safe. God is more willing to give resources the more you are willing to do the new and different thing, the more you're willing to commit to those things for the sake of curiosity and for the sake of play. And so the second conversation in regards to luxury is the same conversation, but with the skin of money, with the skin of what we say we are permitted to do. Throughout this chapter, she talks about how artists and creatives avoid a sense of luxury, in part because we, pedestalize doing more with less, but also in part because we are like, it might be too expensive for me to do anything. And in this section, she also talks about how artists constrict around the idea of not having enough, saying there's not enough money. Like, I can't do it because I don't have any resources. The what is different, but the why is the same. It is around constriction. It is around this feeling that you are not allowed. And so artists will say, I don't have enough resources, and so I'm going to glorify the fact that I don't have enough resources, and I'm going to stick to this, and I don't need anything else. I'm not going to do whatever else. And another part where it's like, I don't have resources to try anything, and it'll be too expensive for me to even look at anything. So like, why would I even? And that is a kind of no, but it's all about a constriction. It's all about that fear and constricting around that fear, and how that robs artists, again, of experiencing the blessing, right? Because again, art is a blessing. It is an allowance. It is what connects people to each other and then to the greater world around us, to meaning, to understanding, to all kinds of things. Artists truly are the bridge and the doorway to so much of that luxury that other people experience and yet struggle the deepest with allowing and with allowing for that in our own lives. And the luxuries don't have to be expensive. It's not about that. It is about the allowance. It is about the permission. The luxury is not about the money, even though money might be the main avenue where which we experience that, because money is what we used to buy so many things. It is about the permission. It is about the permission to do something. And so when we talk about permission, we have to ask permission to do what? Permission to experience what? For one of the people in the book, she was saying that there was a man who loved music but didn't give himself permission. He's saying he wasn't good enough. I need to be perfect. I need to get this right and that right and the third right. And so for his artist, like a part of his recovery was just, you're not even gonna just buy music that you like. This was like, this book is old. So he's like, you're just gonna buy a new record a week or buy a new whatever a week. And that bit of permission, that bit of luxury allowed him to then go to, okay, like, well, I'm buying this music, and now I'm buying indie music, and now I'm buying R&B music. And then one day, randomly, sporadically, went to the music store and got some drumsticks. It wasn't all at once. It took some time. But he just gave himself permission and then slowly said, okay, fine. I got drumsticks. And then he didn't touch them for 3 months. He left it alone for 3 months. And I have been there. I started this YouTube channel like 2 or 3 times, and I went, oh, whatever. And I got the equipment, and I got the lights, and I got the camera, and I left it alone. And I would get this stuff in bits, and I would get motivated in bits, and then I go, no, I don't want to touch it. And same kind of experience where he gets the luxury of the thing, and then eventually he goes from, I'm going to leave this alone for 3 months, and then he goes, okay, I'm gonna drum here, and then he couldn't stop himself from tapping, so then he got a drum set, and then he said, I'm going to be bothering my wife and my kid, but they went, hey man, we love it, and then he just kept doing it, and now he's playing. And so she has, this chapter is so full of different stories where it's like, if it's drumsticks, if it's, one lady just wanted to buy raspberries. She was like, I just like sweet things. I don't give myself permission to eat sweet things like that. I'm gonna just give myself the allowance. I'm gonna give myself the luxury. When you permit yourself to have new experiences, you permit yourself to learn things that may not have otherwise entered into your heart. And when you learn things that otherwise would not have entered into your heart, you are allowed to bring things into this world that could not pass through any other way, because your heart has to be the doorway that you make your art with. And so one of the most challenging things as an artist is really getting a hamper on that relationship to what you are allowed to do and who is allowing you to do it. It is different situations and different circumstances, but it is a constriction. You always have a choice. You always have a decision. And so for me, it is encouraging because I go, okay, great. I don't have to figure it out all at once. And I also, I don't know, man. Like, I don't view like, because the big thing might be too scary. And so you just take a small bit, but you have to try. You have to take a step out and do something. Take a step out and do something. And if you're liking this video so far, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Also, there is a link in the description that has the book on Amazon if you want to follow along. Let's get back to the video. And so this second section, I'm going to go straight into it because I'm feeling it. The crazy part is I didn't do many of the tasks. Like, morning pages I did, although I want to get better about doing those in the morning. Like, I do those, like, now I'm in the habit of like going about my day and then coming back to write. I'll still make sure I do my pages, but I want it to be right when I wake up. But those have been hit. The actual check-in tasks were like, go pick up rocks, go bake. I swear to God, this is what is in the book. Call 5 friends. I'm like, girl. So I didn't take it seriously, and I should have, and I'm going to. So I'm going to make it tomorrow. And I am reaching out to people that I care about, and I'm going to go pick up some rocks and flowers or whatever and take it seriously. But there were tasks around counting. There were tasks around like money associations. All those things were important. Artist date wise, I will say the one thing I folded on this week was my artist date. I did kind of have an artist date. So I'm in a band, and this week we had like a rehearsal, and it was just so fun. I enjoyed it. Like, we made a bunch of music and I put it in demos, and like I also like did a bunch of like bulk stuff. I've been wanting to like make bulk content forever, or like make bulk videos forever, just because I have so much music that's sitting in the background that I have not pushed at all or I have not promoted at all, or not like made anything for it, because I have not given myself the permission to try and to fail in public. Or just, I've treated every single piece of thing as if it has to be the most important thing, and they have to understand it. It has to be this standard, which, you know, it's not bad to have beautiful things on the internet, but like, it's a library. It's a library. Keep adding more books to it. You know, give yourself permission to just go and go and go and iterate. And that's much of what I've come across this week, ideas wise. So yeah, artist state wise, didn't really hit it. I'm gonna spin back. I'm spinning back hard this week for sure. But yeah, I'm seeing my life form around the things that I'm pushing for and the path that I want to go down. And it's so exciting. But what I found I've struggled with the most is just allowing myself to fail. Like, it has just been, you are not going to get it right. It's okay. Like, or you're not going to get it perfect. It's okay. Because life is about iteration. Like, we human beings have iterated over. We're a species that is on a potter's wheel. Like, we change all the time, right? Like, anything changes all the time. That is what evolution is. And so, like, when you make decisions, you should be able to iterate, to grow, to change, to do things over and over again, because the only thing you have to work on is the information that you have, and you don't have all the information. And so your ability to grow and be flexible and adaptable is some of the most important stuff that you have. And I've been thinking about that a lot, because this past year I've been running around, like, trying to learn, trying to grow, trying to like work through the traumas that I've had, trying to work through the things that I've experienced. And the only reason that I'm doing that is because I was in enough pain for permission not even to be a factor. It's like, I have to do this. It's not about whether or not I want to do this or I'll let myself do it. It's I have to do it. Like, I've gotten to this point now where it's like, I get to do this. I get to work. I get to do these things. And I'm allowing myself to sit with myself. I'm grateful to be able to go out and do things. I'm so grateful for the versions of myself that just decided to run after it. I know that it's like what I do for myself today, I will be eating off of and living off of tomorrow, some other version of me. And so I cannot become who I want to become unless I allow myself to be that person and do the work to be that person. And so I've been thinking about that a huge amount. But yeah, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. And then also, like, I will speak to you personally because you are here. The book itself is fascinating. It's interesting, but like, it's a deep wonder to be able to sit with yourself and commit to action for yourself, especially if your wounds have been around esteem, especially if your wounds have been around being allowed to do things, being allowed to try. Because who's going to stop you? Who like, you get to a certain point where you realize the people that were over you don't know much better. They know what they know. More the people that are around you know what they know. The end of their knowledge is not the end of your knowledge. It should be the beginning of your curiosity. And so, yeah, I just want to encourage you, like, whatever it is you want to try, even if it's a small thing, like if you're working all the time and you like just want to try something out, like, and this is for me, it's not even from the book, just try something this week. If you're working all the time and you're like really into music, like, just listen more to artists and maybe just try a run that you hear that you like. You don't have to even record it, just try it on your own. Or like, maybe you want to get into some sort of like pottery, just, you know, buy some Play-Doh buy some Play-Doh or something. Like, it doesn't have to be big, but pick a luxury for yourself that you might feel like, oh, this is stupid, and do it. Be dumb. Don't be afraid to be silly, because silly is like the worst slur. Like, especially because being an artist is about being a child. It's about being a child and keeping that child part of you alive. Like, do the thing that feels weird. I know I'm trying, and it's been wonderful. And so we are halfway through. Like, next week is all about a sense of connection and establishing your ability to listen and connect with others, which is going to be exciting to hear about. And that was going to be over here. Thank you.